to You Will Notice Who I Am. What's up, everybody? We're live. This is week 3 of our quarantine cast. We got special guests in the building who was actually helping us produce last week, but we got our main producer holding it down back with us this week. So let's get into it. You're watching Young Lion TV.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, won't you get up and start fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding.
Young lion. Yeah. We are live at True Sound Studios back in Camden, New Jersey in our spot. And we're happy to be back with you guys doing another podcast this week. We want to give a shout out to everybody who's watching right now. People have been checking in constantly. Warrenita, Kathleen, Jen, Art by Sir, Mike, Jack, William, Melissa. What's up, everybody? Make sure you give a quick share to the video. If you're watching on YouTube, you can like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Also, if you want to become a member and you want to support what we do, the podcast, and help it grow, you can go to patreon.com/youngliontv and support the cause. But I know it's difficult right now because everybody's sitting at home, locked inside, not working. But yeah, so we're just going to have some conversation about things that are going on, talk about the stuff happening out there in these crazy streets. And
them streets.
But we want to introduce our guest this evening. He's one of the originator of the Tri Jam podcast.
Hey.
And he's been helping us out lately. We've been coming through a lot lately to the studio, hanging out with me at least.
I have.
Yeah.
Where the rest of y'all at? Every single day.
These dudes, they leave me lonely, man. They leave me here lonely. But our man Kyle Mack is in the building.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, Katisha?
Fellas. What'd you call me?
No, I'm talking to someone else in the chat. Someone said hi to us. I was saying hi back. So what's going on, man?
Oh, just enjoying the nothing that's going on any of the rest of the days of the week.
But you're still at work, though, right?
Yes, yeah, I'm still working. I am in the health industry. What is that? What's the word I want to use? The adjective?
I think so.
Now,
Industry works.
And I'm a healthcare provider.
Yeah.
Yes. So
So
yes, we are essential
you are
personnel.
One of the heroes.
Yeah, you know what? I have never referred to myself as that. But
Well, military man, and you're in the healthcare industry.
Stop.
Double hero.
Keep going.
Double
Stop.
hero.
Thanks, man.
Doing the God's work you're doing there, sir.
Yeah.
And the podcast as well.
Actually, we're taking a break right now. Everyone else is kind of scared.
That's why you're here with us.
Yeah.
Do they know?
No.
They're gonna be salty.
They're gonna be fine. They're find out. Okay, so it was not really my decision. It was our executive producer's decision to not continue to do the podcast at home.
Because he thought it would be a bad look.
He thought it would be a bad look.
Right.
And you know what? I mean...
I get that.
Yeah.
So is it a bad look that you're with us?
Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely. I'll get a DM later.
Yeah. Really? You think so?
Yeah, I'm sure someone will be like, what? Okay, I forget.
And you're
can we
wearing the
curse
hat
here?
too?
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Oh, yeah.
Say whatever
I'm sure I'll get a DM from like Will. Be like, what the fuck, man? Hey, Will. Joe, Shay.
What's up, everybody at Tri Jam? We miss you guys. Hopefully, you guys have us back on.
You know, our producer Dan was just talking about it with me a couple weeks ago. It's like we really should have Jaton come back, and you guys have a song that's either out or coming out soon. What do we?
Well, technically, James Evans.
Yes. Okay. I don't know how much we're supposed to say.
Yeah.
James Evans put out a song that sounds an awful lot like you guys.
Yeah. So there's a song that came out under James Evans. If people want to go look it out.
Yeah, we haven't even really.
We haven't talked about it because there hasn't been a promotion thing yet. But and plus it came out like during all of this craziness,
right?
So it kind of felt weird just being like, "Go stream our music," you know what I mean?
Right. Go stream our music named after this other guy.
Yeah, named after James Evans.
James Evans, and I'm sure James Evans, who is an actual artist somewhere, his fans are very confused.
Also, James Evans is the character from Good Times.
Oh yeah,
so
the one that died.
Yeah, well, actually, the father and JJ.
You guys
were
can see
both
Rachel's
James
face
Evans.
right now.
Yeah, so that's why I told Dave, I was like, We should have put it. We should have did Jamie Evans just to kind of separate the
Temporary layoffs have a different meaning now.
right.
Yes.
So anyway, there's a song called Higher Love if you want to stream it.
It's really good.
It's a great
Yeah.
song.
I was telling Jamie today, I forgot that I had heard it because I was around when he was mixing it, and then I had not listened to it when it came out because I got busy. But then I've been listening to it on repeat the last 2 days, and I'm like, oh yeah, this was the song Jamie was working on, and y'all sound fantastic.
Yeah,
It's a great song. I absolutely love it. Go check it out.
You were actually here when I was doing the final mix.
Yeah?
Yeah, that was like the last touches I put on the mix
Yeah.
before I mastered it, and then it came out.
You got Jamie singing
And falsetto again.
falsetto.
Yeah, we were talking about that before the podcast. You were like, so this music doesn't sound like.
Yeah, so there was the alternative like folky type of stuff that I had heard, and which is the kind of music that you were promoting when you came on Tri Jam
Which was just kind of what was playing.
before tonight.
Look, when we just went live,
Right.
like Who Am I was playing.
Right.
Which is kind of what that is, what you're talking about there.
Right. So the sound of Higher Love is a bit of a departure from the other stuff that we've been familiar with as of late. I believe.
Right.
I don't want to talk out of turn, but this direction that Higher Love is taking you guys, the sound of it, I am completely like enthralled with it. It's really cool.
Well, you
really
like it because it's R&B.
Maybe. But it's not just
It's
R&B.
not just R&B.
There's
there.
other
not.
things in there.
What would you classify it as?
You know what? There is like a category of pop that's out there now that's taken this alternative, but then there's the funk, and then all the pop sounds like this. There's like a drum machine sound that you guys are using, and synthesizers, and this guitar. Who's the guitar player on the song?
Jordan.
Jordan.
Yeah.
He sounds so great on that, man.
Yeah, man. Jordan killed it. That's Jordan on. Kyle was here last night when I was mastering a song that Freddie's about to put out.
Okay.
It's a song called "Why" that's speaking about like the world and what's going
Why?
on. Yeah.
Why?
And we sang background on that song and produced it here and everything. But
What's the riff I couldn't stop singing? I've obviously forgotten it now, but what's the
everybody stand up.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like
Yeah.
that part.
I was singing that for the rest of the night.
Yeah, I was telling him that Rachel, every time we work on something, like for the next 5 days, you end up singing whatever that thing is. It like gets stuck in your head.
Yeah.
But Higher Love. It's not a departure from our. Oh, there it is, right there.
Oh.
Can I play this, or are they going to flag us?
Yeah, you
for
could
playing
you
it?
could play it. I mean, they
Well,
probably will flag us, but who cares? That we own it.
They'll just contact the copyright owner.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
No, what they're going to say is the Orchard has made a copyright claim on this song, so you have to share the proceeds with them. Like,
Right.
Fine.
Hey, by streaming your own music live on something, do you get royalties from that?
Yeah.
Wow. You found a loophole to make some money. Just incorporate the song in your live streams and you'll make some coin.
I think for us though, what it is we get bored doing the same type of stuff. Like we've never been like we're just gonna do one thing.
Right.
So it's always kind of like we just like to explore different sounds. We like to explore different vibes.
Yeah, a lot of the music is taking like an 80s pop
Yeah.
route now.
And I love that.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Yeah.
Which is something we grew up with also. So it's kind of, it's like all the stuff that we do is stuff that we inherently grew up with or something that has influenced us musically.
Right.
So we yeah.
Lost in my redemption. Oh, I was a wreck. 'Cause you're giving me higher love. Got me in the clouds.
Part of the Fox funky bass line.
Yeah.
You don't hear a lot of songs today with slap bass.
Yeah, right?
I love it.
Well,
Slap it in bass.
I think like one of the albums that kind of embraced that a little bit was Bruno Mars. Like on Treasure,
Yeah.
you know that song?
Yeah, I know.
Treasure.
Yeah.
It kind of sounded like
I couldn't avoid it. When I was deployed in Turkey and we were doing a 4th of July celebration, it was one of the songs that I sang at this live event on bass in Turkey. I was you know who Tori Kelly is? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she was supposed to come out and do our 4th of July celebration in this deployed environment.
Okay.
But the week that she was supposed to come out, the Istanbul airport got bombed.
Oh, wow.
And so her dadager said no. So in a swift move, the FSS squadron, which is the Force Support Squadron, put together the collection of the. I had started singing on bass in the chapel in the gospel service, and so they got together all the gospel service musicians and singers to do the live event instead. And Treasure is one of the songs I sang. So that song has a place in my heart because it was part of a 4th of July celebration. We tried to save the event, and that event we rehearsed a hour and 45-minute show in like 3 days put together.
Wow.
It was like I got special permission from my commander to not do the aircraft maintenance I was supposed to be doing over there to do
so you could do this
so
show.
I could do this show.
So you were a hero 3 times.
Oh, thanks. I wasn't fishing, but thank you. So Treasure. I didn't mean to.
Yeah,
No, that's
but-
cool.
So
Sidetrack.
because we were talking about slap bass, but
Yes.
so that
Slap bass is cool.
I think there was some slap bass stuff on the album after that too, where he did like more '90s like Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis kind of vibes.
Was it
With
the second
24
album that 24 Karat came out?
24
Karat
Karat
Magic?
came out on his 3rd album, I think.
Oh, okay.
Right? Treasure was on the 2nd album.
Yeah,
All right.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know either.
But we grew up with slap bass, so it's
Yeah.
like
Our dad was a bass player. Who,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so was mine.
Specialized in slap bass.
Yeah.
My dad didn't slap as much. He was more of a rock musician, like
Okay.
classic. I'm sure he does. I'm sure he can. I haven't heard him do it as much, but he's a bassist and he's a very good one. He's played in bands all his life. I think when I was a kid, when I was a fetus inside my mother, my dad used to put headphones over my mother's stomach and just pump like Stevie Ray Vaughan and Eric Clapton and stuff like that.
Man, is he disappointed?
He should have been a
Because
rock
you
guitar
became
player.
the very biggest Temptations fan. How does that happen? No, it's hilarious. But our dad, same way. Growing up, he was a traveling musician,
Right.
Music director. So we used to make him play bass for us. Like that was our bedtime story. Was you got to play a song.
How do you fall asleep to the sound of bass?
No, we didn't. So it would be like my mom would be like, "All right, it's time for bed." And before we would go to bed, we would always go in my dad's room and be like, "All right, you got to play Beat It or Billie Jean."
Well, we'd say, we want to hear a song first. And
Yeah.
What do you want to hear?
Yeah.
And he
It
played
was,
for
it
you?
was usually and he would just play it real quick.
It was
and-
something basic like we want to hear Batman.
Yeah. And that was us. It was like, whoa, killing it.
Did your father ever try to teach you how to play any of the instruments he played?
He tried to get
Yeah.
Jake into bass,
Yeah.
but he tried to like slide it in there.
He started me with cello.
Yeah,
Oh.
And then,
Wait, how do you slide bass from cello?
because it's
Same thing. You turn
Yeah.
it on its side. Hello.
a four-string instrument that plays bass frequencies.
Okay.
Same type of thing.
But
So-
no, he tried to trick you into thinking that you were learning cello, but in fact he was trying to teach you how to play
He's
bass.
trying to give him a
No,
foundation
no.
and prep him.
My
Yeah.
brother wanted to get into, in the school program, they would be like, all right, you can. This is the
Yeah.
year you can pick an instrument to play.
So
Okay.
I wanted to play violin. My dad was like, "No, you're playing cello."
Yeah, because he knew that the
Oh,
cello would be a
right.
stepping
Yeah.
stone to the bass.
I got you.
And my dad was Jake Evans Jr. He's Jake Evans the 3rd, so he was
Right.
thinking,
Following the footsteps.
but he didn't know that Jake was too concerned with being cool. So
Is cello not cool?
Carrying that cello to school every day was not gonna.
Because
This is so
violin
funny
is
how he
carrying a
does that
violin to school so
every
much
time.
better.
That's definitely not true.
How do you carry that to school? Like on your back straps?
Wait, what is mom said it was my room too, and my mom said hi, Kyle. By the way,
Hi.
Yeah, it was your room, but at first it was his. Like,
wait, what?
I guess
she
she's
talking
talking
about?
about like where he used to play bass for us.
No, she's wrong. It was the 3rd bedroom that he turned into his little practice
but
rehearsal.
It was
room.
your room at one time.
No, she said it was her room.
Oh,
She said it was my room too.
Yeah, what is she talking
She's
about?
she's trying to include herself in the story. That's what she's trying to do.
Leave her alone.
It's all right, Mom. We still love you. You did a lot of things for us too. We're just talking about one memory of our dad. Is that okay?
Yeah. And you endured a lot of shit last week.
Just want to say what's up to James Garcia, who is not with us.
Who is not with us? Man, you made that sound so bleak.
How did you?
I haven't seen
And
him
he's
in a
still
few
watching? How is he doing that?
weeks. Our boy Jay Copes is watching. Monique.
Wasn't he just here?
He's upstairs in the studio.
Oh, okay.
So we kind of had the same experience. That's kind of how we got introduced into music so early. But I think like Higher Love, for example, and a lot of the stuff that I was playing for you on Freddie's album,
Right.
was kind of influenced by one of the first like albums that my dad produced.
Mm-hmm.
He used to have on tape, and we used to listen to it when we were kids. I used to listen to that. I used to wear that tape out front to back, and a lot of the production was like, what you're hearing on Higher Love. Like,
What was the album?
it was one that I don't even remember the name. This
Okay.
was like 1987 or 88, and it was something that he self-produced, and
Yeah, he never really put it out.
he never put it out. It was kind of like a demo where he was showing his work. That's how he got to work with like
John Whitehead.
John Whitehead. He was doing some work with Hush Productions and stuff like that. So
It was funny because it was actually the time of Freddie.
yeah, he actually used to cross paths with Freddie, which is funny.
Hmm.
Do you have that? Do you have
I
like
don't-
recordings?
I
or,
do, but
like-
I have the tapes, but I gotta go through and find like the recordings. But there's some dope stuff on there, and a lot of that stuff has definitely influenced a lot of the production that I did with like Freddie's new stuff that's coming out, and even like the stuff that we got coming out.
It kind of sounds like that scene from Drumline.
Which scene?
It's like where the guy, whereas Nick Cannon decides he's going to leave the school after he gets kicked out of the band, and then he gets a package in the mail, and it's a tape from his dad's old band,
Oh,
and it
okay.
inspires him to play funky
I've
drumline
never,
music.
ever seen that movie.
You never saw Drumline?
No.
My condolences.
I think you'll live.
Drumline's great. Don't
yeah.
knock it.
But so listening to that, you feel like does that sound more like the Jatan that you kind, because we met you back when we were doing way more R&B.
Yes, you were wearing the same color suits.
Yeah.
We were just talking about one of those events at the Shriners Club earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember
Apparently,
when-
the monkeys.
monkeys on the wall?
Monkeys on the wall.
Monkeys on the wall. Wizards and monkeys.
Wizards and monkeys.
Egyptian wizards.
Egypt. But no, I think I guess if it's closer to R&B than stuff from in between period.
Right, from the Back to Life EP. And
It kind of sounds like a natural progression of both. If you
Right.
were to take what you did in your younger days and then to take what you did after that and put it together, you wipe off the blood right there.
right. Wipe off the
Blood,
blood. Right, because this kind of...
I missed a bit of the other words in that analogy, but yes, you're supposed to smash two heads together, wipe off the blood, and do something new.
Oh.
I digress.
So I think you're saying because like the elements of this new stuff is still like a band feel, but it's
Yeah.
also a produced like feel as well. It's
There's
not-
more R&B elements, like Moon had said, that's
Yeah.
that is it's more present than like By the River and all that other type of stuff.
Okay.
I thought though that By the River there was still R&B elements in that, just from the way you guys were singing your songs.
Right.
Like
Yeah, it's
that-
always going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people said that like By the River had a lot of people were describing it as like gospel, folk, blues, R&B.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that makes sense.
Yeah. So,
And I think that this progression like with the example of Higher Love is I hear
What are
music-
you thinking, Rach? What's in your head? I want
Not thinking anything.
to know.
Or always just by the river. It's funny because that's how that description. What was that? Gospel, folk, whatever R&B,
R&B,
blues
yeah.
R&B. That's like
polka.
a perfect description to me.
yeah.
But somehow still there's like a parody version of By the River now where y'all are like sitting on hay bales in overalls and there is much plaid. Like my
Right.
brain has created that comedic version of everything.
Plaid.
Even though the song is like R&B and it's still groovy, I'm
Right.
like that exists. So I'm always
You're
like,
like, that was our
Plaid.
overall phase
Yeah.
with on the farm. That's because the video we did like that.
Right.
There
It's
was
like-
a farmer with
the farmer-
overalls with no
farmer
shirt
with
on.
Right.
there you
overalls.
go. So all right, I'm not totally crazy.
And I'm pretty sure Jake was wearing plaid in the video.
No, he was
Yeah.
wearing black.
Okay.
Singing about trees.
Yeah, there is a line about a tree,
Right.
Yeah.
but the song is not about a tree.
I know it's not about a tree.
It's not about a river either. You know.
It's what's happening by that river.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys are great. Have a great night. Keep being the best you.
You're leaving
ever.
us already?
Okay.
We just
That sounds like a goodbye.
Oh, Jen. I guess she was saying Jen Henson was saying best movie ever. I guess she's talking about Drumline.
Oh,
That's debatable.
best movie ever.
I'll say I've watched Drumline probably a lot. Probably like tens of times. Maybe almost 30.
I can't do it.
You can't watch Drumline?
I mean, I watched it, but it's
Why, can't you watch it more
you know
than
what it
once?
is. It's the storylines. Like the storylines, they just become the same over
Yeah.
and over again with a lot of these movies. So it's like Leslie gets mad at me because a lot of times I know the plots.
Right. I do
'Cause you
that
can
too.
tell.
I'm always like, oh, this is gonna happen, and then
Yeah.
that, and then people
Because
get mad at you.
because you see like
yeah,
there's
a writing style.
There's writing
There's a
formulas.
girl involved.
Yes.
Something happens.
And it's Zoe Saldana.
bad, and then they get together at the end.
Yeah.
There you go.
and there's drumming that happens in between.
and there's stuff that happens.
And then
yeah.
there's a giant drum
And then there's a
competition.
competition.
He
Yeah.
probably wins
Whatever
it
whatever
and
the
proves
movie
himself.
whatever the movie is called, that's what they put. Like there's drumming in between. There's a notebook in between. There's
Yeah.
like but that plot line holds
Greatest
true for
movie ever.
There's a river in
you
between.
gotta have the protagonist. You know what I mean? You got
I thought it was great. I like the actors in
More
it.
than the Temptations movie? How many times have
Oh.
you seen that
I like
movie?
the Temptation movie.
How many times have you seen the Temptations movie?
Enough to where I have not watched it in a while. I've probably seen it probably about like 30, 40 times.
I think I've seen that movie probably 15 times.
Yeah.
I used to watch back when I was poor in my late teens.
Mm-hmm.
I had no cable, and I had like 4 VHS cassettes to watch, and that was one of them. So I used to watch it all the time.
You have it all on one cassette.
I had no cable.
Yeah,
Where?
after Mom kicked us out.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Remember we talked about that last week. Yeah.
Yeah, because I usually gauge how much I like something by how many times I've bought it over the course of my life. I think I bought it the DVD twice, and then I purchased it on iTunes, and then for some reason, even though having all that, it was uploaded to Hulu, and I watched it there too. And then the countless times it was on VH1.
Right.
That's actually where I first saw it. When it was on VH1.
When they aired the whole series.
Yeah, well, they aired it as a 4-hour-long movie.
But I thought they aired it like episodes.
Well, no, it aired on NBC in 1998
Okay.
as episodes.
Don't
It was-
mess with him, Jay. Don't mess.
That's where I'm at. But
It was over a 2-night period, and it was just 2-hour-long episodes.
yeah, that's what I remember. I remember that.
Say hi to Hawkeye real quick.
Hauke.
Hawkeye.
Hauke, what's up, bro?
I always say his name wrong. Sorry.
Man, I feel for you, brother. You out there in
Yeah,
New York.
he's in the middle of it.
You're in the middle of the ground zero over there, man. How's things going in New York? Hauke,
Is it as bad as CBS is trying to tell us?
Phone is buzzing.
nothing is as bad as that.
Yo, did you see that?
What?
They got caught again. They
With
used
using
clips.
some fake footage from
fake
Italy.
footage from Italy.
Yeah, I saw that.
Hospital in Italy.
I saw that. Yeah, they're always doing that.
Oh, he's doing it.
They were doing a news story about New York hospitals, like talking about how they need ventilators and
He said bathing in Corona.
bathing in Corona.
Literally.
That used to mean a different thing. If you said that
Yeah, right.
6 months ago, bathing in Corona was like that's a party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah,
There are people who are getting arrested for having parties now.
I know. I heard about that.
I heard something. Someone just got fined $5,000 for having a party.
It's happened twice in New Jersey already.
Yeah.
The first time was because a wedding got canceled, so they tried to have it at their house,
Right.
and this was in Lakewood. I think it was. Like
And I heard there was only 7 people.
no, it was
And that was a different thing.
It was more than 10 people.
Okay.
I think the thing
It was
you're
40 people.
yeah, the thing that you're talking about is people that had a party that was supposed to be. I think it was like a Corona party.
Yes.
Oh my
where
goodness.
they wanted to give each other coronavirus so that they could get it out of their systems.
Stupid.
This
Wow.
is people are doing this in different parts of the country,
Right.
so they can get it out of their system.
How stupid
I
can you
heard something. I don't know if I should say
Yeah.
it.
Say it.
People are stupid, yo.
A friend of mine, I was just talking on the phone with her before I came here. A friend of mine said, and she works for FEMA. FEMA had a Corona party.
What?
Yeah, and they're supposed to be the people that save us from shit like that.
Why would they? They're supposed to be the ones.
Setting the example,
Yeah.
right?
Wait. Are they like a party trying
It
to
was.
raise
It was
money?
No,
or-
no. So it's a group of people from a particular FEMA office. So
Okay,
all these
okay.
coworkers, they got
Okay.
together at someone's apartment. There was only like 8 of them. So, but they were still in close proximity, and they called it a Corona party. So,
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of people are doing that.
yeah. And I heard something today at work, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that someone, like, this whole this live Facebook live DJ stuff that people
Yeah.
are doing now.
Yeah.
I heard there was a DJ somewhere that had a live party, and then it turned into an actual, like, real live party because the people started coming over to the house.
Oh my.
And the cops came and shut the party down.
Yeah.
And, all the participants got fined a smaller amount, but the DJ himself got fined like a couple $1,000.
Well, did he say did he invite people over?
I think so.
That's
Again,
that's a
this,
bad
all, this
move.
is all.
That's
this
a
is-
bad move right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just spitting in the face of the government.
I mean, and then you got neighbors that are calling, like that party with the 7 people. The neighbors are the ones that called the police, and
I heard there's another thing in New Jersey. Someone had at a party in their apartment, and they had like 44 people in there.
what?
Wow.
Yeah. First, how do you fit 44 people in an apartment?
Yeah, I don't know.
There was a meme going around. Did you see it? Well, I don't know if you would call it a meme because it's a video, but talking about
They call videos memes too, right?
do they?
Yeah, there are video memes.
Video
Okay.
memes. Yeah.
Halka says he's staying his butt at home, but still being productive and creative, working on a couple of music-related concepts.
I'm working
That's the
on
move.
warming my feet up. I can't feel them.
Really?
Can you feel your feet?
It's cold in
yo.
here, man.
Oh, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, it was hello, like calling 911. There's an emergency. Something about I see 11 cars pulling up to somebody's house like that.
Well,
It was a joke,
Oh,
it's a caravan.
but
Now, is that the word I wanted to use?
Was the lady white?
because you can't have more than 10. Yes, she was. Because you can't have more than 10 people.
right.
So
she
saw
counted
11.
all the cars.
Yeah.
And was like, that's 1, 2. She was waiting. What?
Remember our boy we met in Cancun, Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's watching.
Oh, what's up, Ryan? What's he doing? How's things in Texas, man?
He said Simone Chang, you ready for that draft?
We too old for that draft, brother. We safe.
No, he's talking about the NFL.
Oh, the NFL draft. Oh, I thought because there's another thing people are talking about, like the military draft.
Why?
I don't know what.
I got a text message from my father a couple of days ago, and he's someone like I know it's out of a place of love. He doesn't want to see me struggle. As the person trying to get into the entertainment industry like I am. Of course, there's a rite of passage of struggle, but he hates seeing it. Right. So he texts me. He's like, I heard POTUS is recalling a bunch of people on the Ready Reserve, which is IRR, which is what I was on after I got out of the Air Force. And you're automatically in the Ready Reserve for 2 years, and then 2 years after you leave, you separate, you're off of it.
Okay.
He was trying to find out whether or not I was still on it, because I think he secretly hoped that I was still on it, so I had the possibility of being called back in.
Oh,
your pops.
My dad, and then I said, no, I've been out since January. This past January is when my time on the IRR was up. And he said, I thought so. I was just checking. Then I just, like, a couple minutes later, and then he's like, but he's also asking for the voluntary return of people who've been out for a couple years. And
Why does he want you to?
because he doesn't want to see me struggle. He thinks that the Air Force is such a. I mean,
Oh, okay. I get it.
it's a secure
job. Yeah.
But I don't want to live a life of regret.
Right.
I want to spend some time actually working on my
So
dreams.
he's trying to nudge you to kind of like re-enlist back.
Yeah.
In.
Yeah. I said, I told him, it's like, it's not such a great thing to be a military member right now.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of people, a lot of reason why there's not as many as there are is because people are, you know, they're getting out for reasons, you know, they don't want to get screwed over or die.
My dad told me, he's like, "Right, have you thought about politics? You maybe should go into politics." I'm like,
Politics.
Go into politics.
Is there any evidence, Rachel, that would suggest
No.
that's a good idea?
I'm busy.
Yeah, right.
Also, do you think that would work for me?
Right.
Well,
Like
if
me getting
AOC
out?
could be
Listen, that's true, but also
know,
I'm not
a
going to do the
congresswoman.
AOC thing. I'm going to be like, you're wrong, and you're wrong,
Right.
and you're wrong. Like,
Right.
it's not going to go
Yeah.
over well.
Have you dabbled in anything politic related, like in school or
No,
nothing?
this is
Were you class
what
president?
I do.
Yeah.
So, doesn't
Ryan
make
said
sense.
things are pretty good here in Texas.
That's good, man.
That's good.
It's
But he's
warm.
out. He's out in the country, man. He don't gotta. He's
Yeah.
not like. It's the people in the cities that really got it bad, you know. And we're close to a lot of different cities, so we're like surrounded by trouble. But
My brother's in Hoboken.
yeah,
Def-
it's bad up there.
Yeah, North Jersey's pretty close. He's getting the residual effects.
No, Hoboken was the first city in the area that was like quarantined.
In the first city in Jersey, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
It was right after like New York kind of
They
spilled
s-
over.
Yeah.
They said they still have like dentists open,
Dentists?
stuff like that. Yeah, because I know down. I mean, I think they were supposed to close them, but Leslie was telling me about that. So that they're not like abiding by a lot of the rules that are going on.
Mm.
So I think that's why it might have spread a little
Mm.
faster up there.
These
Yeah.
Not
dentists
to
getting
mention it's
fined.
right next to
New York.
New York
Yeah.
too.
And there's a lot of people trying to flee New York because they're worried that it's going to get fully locked down or that the hospitals are going to be overrun. So people trying to get
That
out.
must be a scary thing to be in a place that is so overrun with this virus and then wanting to leave, but the government is saying, no, stay your ass at home, where you have no choice legally but to stay in an area that is so concentrated with this disease, with this virus.
But that's the price you pay for choosing to live in a
Yeah.
stacked on top of each
I
other.
guess.
You know what I mean?
But
Like-
I understand the desire of these people to want to get out of there.
right.
But
Of
unfortunately, you
course,
can't.
Of course.
And they haven't closed the bridges. Like, they're putting like travel bans / advisories.
Yeah.
And they're making things like you have to have an easy pass.
Yeah.
But it's not like at every toll and every bridge they have cops sitting there waiting.
It's
to
like
be
a
like,
Right.
suggestion.
where are you going
Yeah.
and you need to go home.
Well, that's starting. They're
Well,
There is some of that,
They
but
asked,
up
they
till
asked
now,
Trump about that. Like how
What'd they
how
say?
do you
What'd he say?
enforce? He said how do you like really enforce people? How do you take it to the next step?
right, which
you
is
know-
the answer that a lot of people are saying is the military. Like,
Right.
is the
Yeah, he's
obvious
gonna be criticized.
answer to that if you're going to do it.
Yeah,
But-
it's not a good look.
I mean,
have a
not only
friend-
that,
I have a friend in the nursing system, was the end of my thought, who is like, the bridges are not closed. Everything is open. You know, people from New York are going to be coming here. They already are.
Right.
Like, Philly is the next best, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, situation hospital-wise. So people are going to travel. You're not going to stop them.
And Philly hasn't been too bad as far
Yeah.
as cases. So
Yeah.
there's been more cases, I think, on like the outskirts of Philly, right?
There's still, the more testing that they do, the
They're
more
finding
numbers
more.
Oh
Yes.
yeah,
are
they're
going
gonna
up.
they're gonna find.
Yeah.
Comments. I'm trying to find comments on the live stream. I can't find them. All I got is this. These.
Terry Wells says,
It acts weird
"Great show."
sometimes, man.
What's up, Terry?
what's up, Terry?
We're on the same, and I see all these.
I got nothing.
It's weird.
I'm
It
sure you
does- it
guys are
does
saying
that
really nice
sometimes.
things.
Shanique was watching.
we
Probably
were-
sitting right next to James.
Aaron Ely. What's up, Aaron?
Aaron Ely.
There we go.
That's Coach Ely's daughter.
Oh yeah, I met her. I think that was the first time I met her at Auburn.
Okay. John's watching. Yo, did you see, not to take a side tangent, but did you see all that gear John got from his school?
No.
He got some nice. I told him, man, you need to bring that to the
Oh, really?
podcast. Yeah. So he said he's
Other
gonna,
other than his $3,000 laptop.
no more. He got like a $3,000 camera and lights, stands.
I need to go to
like-
school.
Yeah, yeah.
Man.
Like he got a whole. They gave him a whole pack. But I
What-
mean, it's,
what's up,
it's-
John?
You pay for it. It's in the tuition.
Right.
He just got some grants for it.
I got the GI Bill. I
Well,
can
there
do
you
that.
go. You could probably get it too.
I've been debating if I wanted to go back to school or actually just go to school. I didn't go to college after after high school.
Oh yeah.
I went right into the military almost, and then
What would you go to school for?
I would go for communications, like and the broadcasting. You know, whether it be learning about radio,
So
television.
you didn't go to school for
I
broadcasting?
assumed-
I went to
I
broadcasting school.
Okay,
So I got certified.
Right.
I want a degree.
right.
So
got you. So do you think maybe because you were interning at
Preston and Steve.
Preston and Steve
Yeah.
on WMMR, and you said you were trying to get a job there?
We'll talk about this. I was. So I had been working for the morning show for almost better part of a year. You know, doing a lot of stuff. And I formed these great relationships with the, and I already had a pre-existing relationship with the morning show with Preston and Steve and the entire cast. But I got to know the rest of the station people pretty well, and the program director liked me a lot. In fact, Preston and Steve and Nick McElwain and the program director for the station, Bill Weston, wrote letters of recommendation or verbal recommendations to the head of the digital department when a videographer job came up in the company.
Right.
And then I got passed up for someone that somebody knew instead who did not
Nepotism.
Intern there.
You did not intern there, didn't have any affiliation with the company prior to the job posting.
No work put in. Just
Not
knew
no
somebody.
work put into the company. I'm just saying, I
Right.
put a lot of time and effort. I don't want to make it sound like I have sour grapes.
Well, the reason why I brought that up is, do you think if you had a degree, it would have
Probably.
gave you the job?
Probably.
There's
my-
been a lot of talk about that too, though, like with how degrees are starting to.
Well, I don't know about in broadcast, but
I don't know about
I
that,
know
but-
in tech, like there's the degree is obsolete by the time you get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So a lot of these companies like Facebook and Google and Apple are requiring.
But even in broadcasting, I mean, I'm not saying it's not. It probably is in terms of people's mindsets, but I'm saying in terms of understanding, like, do you really need to go to school for that?
And that's something that I had been hearing from like instructors and other people in the industry. There are a lot of people who didn't go to college; they went to broadcasting schools, or
Right.
went to trade schools to learn it instead. And I think at the time it was more about your persistence and talent. If you can show how much you want it,
Right.
and show how talented you are at it, the degree doesn't matter because they want your skill set.
So then, what do you think went wrong with you?
I think that the person who I was working for under my internship, who was the station's videographer, recommended somebody else.
But I'm saying, like, why wouldn't that person recommend you? You've been working there that time. You've been dealing with them all that time.
Well, because I had not been working with him all that time.
He was sleeping with that chick.
No, I don't. No. I'm not going to put that.
That was his
I
side
am,
chick.
I
He
am
got
not
her a
putting that out
job
there.
at the station.
No, I am not putting that energy
You
out
don't
there.
got to put it out there. I'm putting it out there.
Okay.
He was
That's
that-
how it happens.
You take energy for that. Though. You
Listen,
take the heat.
Hey,
They always
he's
talk
a
about-
happily married
Isn't
man
that
with a
how
son.
Kamala Harris got into politics?
No, I think. Well, he's one of his close friends who also happens to be a very talented videographer as well. And then they just
also
have.
has a vagina.
Yep, I'll never get a job at the company. Thanks, James.
It's not.
That's not true.
This is just me joking. That has.
I know.
This is not you saying it. It's just me joking.
So it was a.
It was a lady, yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, I already knew that because we talked about this before. Like,
Yeah, because you guys are never around.
yeah.
Good.
me and Kyle talk about things, right?
Yeah, we always come over to have like more business related conversations, and then we just talk about girls and shit.
Well, because you are a very like.
Don't turn this into something.
I'm not.
I can hear this coming.
I'm not.
I can see the writing on the wall.
No. You are a very like respectful guy as far as dating goes, right?
Yeah, try to be.
And that kind of bites you in the ass sometimes with females nowadays because of the way dating has gone, like the direction it's gone with the age of Tinder and all these options and girls on Instagram getting 18 fire emojis from the dudes that want to see their ass. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah,
And in this world of quarantine, there's a lot of people shaking ass out there.
right. So you trying to navigate that dating world when it's like you said in that video you posted today, like
Yeah.
I'm dating to find love.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
When you say that, a lot of girls automatically cringe for some reason, which is like what has happened to the world where that's a bad thing.
Right. When we were talking the other day, you were saying is like, yeah, so, fuck me for trying to find love and date for potential marriage.
Right.
you know.
Right. That used to be like
Stuff.
what you wanted. You wanted a guy that wasn't going to play games and like, you know.
Exactly.
But now it's like, I don't know. But that's how we got on the topic of girls kind of putting too much value in their beauty and their looks and the power that they have in that at
Right.
an early age, because they feel like I have all. It's like when you go to this massive buffet, right?
Yeah.
There's a difference between that and if you're just eating because you're starving, right? Or you're really hungry, or you're eating.
What am I eating at this buffet?
You're eating to nourish yourself, right?
Okay.
There's a difference, right, between if you go to a buffet and there's just like so many options,
So
right?
much seafood.
There's so much food. There's those people that can't make up their minds, or like if you look at a huge
Right.
menu at a diner sometimes, and you're like, damn, there's so much shit on here. How am I supposed to choose something? So like a lot of these females, they have all these options, so they spend the better years of their life circling around this buffet because they want to only put the best things on their plate,
Right.
And then by the time they make a choice,
Or what
all
they
the
think
good
is the best. Things.
right. But the problem is the buffet that they're at runs out.
Mm-hmm.
And while all these other people are just eating food, you're letting the good shit go to someone else, and then by the time you're ready to pick, there's nothing left.
There was something that happened to me, and I've already just started. Damn it. So there was something that happened to me a couple months ago where I was seeing someone for like a month and a half. We were consistent, seeing each other like every other day,
Right.
you know. And then all of a sudden, she disappeared. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, drop off the face of the earth. We were supposed to go to a
Is
gig.
that called ghosted?
That's
Yeah.
ghosted. He got
Ghosted,
ghosted. Yeah.
I got ghosted. We were supposed to go out. And there was a band I was auditioning for at some point. And I was going to go check them out before I auditioned for them to make sure it was a good idea. And she agreed to go with me. And so I was doing some radio station work that morning. I went to go pick her up on my way after work. But I had texted her in the morning, got no response. I called her after the work, and I got no answer. And I remember that the day before, she was leaving a group of friends' house, and I know that she had been drinking. Mm-hmm. And she called me on her way home, and she didn't call me when she got home. So by this point, I had not heard from her. So with no response, I wasn't quite certain that she was even still alive. Because like I said, she was drinking. I hadn't heard from her and since
how
the
long
night
ago was
before.
this?
Was a couple months ago.
Okay.
So this was like
So pre-quarantine.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So so
So you were concerned for her?
I was concerned about her
Such
welfare.
a nice guy.
But this is what I'm saying. That gets turned into
Well, then it gets
creepy.
It gets turned into creepy because, you know, I stopped by where she lived to make sure that she was okay.
Well, no, but don't just say you stopped by. You had already made plans with her to
Yes.
go somewhere the next day.
I thought I had said that, but no, this was that day that we were supposed to go out. I was going over there to go pick her up.
Right.
And-
But she wasn't answering.
She wasn't answering the door. Her car was in the driveway. I know she
But
made
I'm
it
saying
home.
like she hadn't been answering your texts
No.
or calls, but
No.
you said we had plans to go somewhere,
Yes.
so I'm just gonna go see if she's home.
Right.
Right, which is what a normal human being would do.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And then-
a couple days later, I still hadn't heard anything, and so where she lives is on my way home from work. It's directly on my path home from work. So I veered off and tried one more time to see if she was okay. And that apparently that level of concern was a creepy factor. It was like, I'm just trying to make sure you're all right. We had been seeing each other almost nonstop for a whole month and a half. I thought it was going somewhere.
She flipped it on you.
Yeah.
But we talked about this, about the fact that normal communication etiquette has gone out the window
Yeah.
because people don't know how to just be honest and say like, you know, if she wanted to be like, nah, I'm not feeling this, just say it, and then you don't have to, you know,
Waste your time.
Yeah,
Right.
But then it becomes you're supposed to just get the weird social cue hint that she's giving you by ignoring you. You know what I mean?
And here's you say something that is really hard for me to drill in,
right.
because I am on the autistic spectrum.
Right.
I have Asperger's syndrome. Social cues are not one of my strong suits.
Right.
It's very
Even though you seem to get a little uncomfortable with a lot of the shit I say on here.
well. You're saying it. It's not. There's not nothing subtle about it, but it's it's the subtlety that like those things that I'm supposed to know without knowing.
Yeah.
Those unsaid things that are said.
Yeah.
You know, it's just stuff I'm supposed to just understand because that's the way it is. Well, it's not just the way it is. People on the spectrum, especially with those with Asperger's, is a very antisocial, symptomatic type of disorder, and there's a lot of, it's just black and white for the most part, not a lot of gray. It's those gray fuzzy things that have always been difficult for me. So those nonverbal cues, those apparently well understood social cues, I don't pick up on it. And it takes a lot of drilling apparently.
I think 50% of it is that, and I think 50% of it is that, like, you are not a. How old are you?
28.
How old am I? 30? We're not a product of, like, you and I. There are some people who are not a product of our, like, immediate time that we grew up in. Like, there are some people who are our age and a little younger who are very much a product of, I texted that person, they didn't text me back, no further communication. Whereas, like, if somebody, like, doesn't, like, I have a friend who I hadn't heard from in a while, and it was, like, odd, but I see you being active. So I'm like, what's the problem?
Right.
Then I'm like, poke emojis. Then I'm
Yeah.
like, creep emojis. I'm
Right.
like, I'll call you every day because I don't know what's going on or why you're not responding, but I see that you're active, so I'm not gonna go anywhere. And that's like a level of, like, you care about somebody. You're not willing to just be like, oh, you didn't text me back, I'll fade out of your life the same
Right.
way you're willing to fade out of mine. That's a different mindset, like, slash upbringing, slash maturity, slash how you treat people. Like, that's not the masses these days.
No.
Is my point.
And I don't know, being so isolated from my peer group when I was younger, you know, I had a very, very select, small group of friends that I spent my time with, which, by the way, they were much more social than I was. So oftentimes I was just spent by myself, and I'm not hanging out with those people because they're spending time with other folks.
Right.
You know, it was a lot of time to myself, and I watched an enormous amount of television and movies. And these depictions on how romance is supposed to be like, you know, arriving on a date with flowers and, you know, the grand gestures of affection. Now, if I were to do that,
You'd be crazy.
I'd get the cops called
That's
on
what I'm
me.
You're
saying. Like,
crazy,
that's
Like
otherworldly. That's a different time. That's parents who, like, my dad had me listening to Tony Bennett and Frank Sinatra. Like, this is how a man sings to a woman. I'm like, oh, okay.
If you're showing up with a radio playing Peter Gabriel, that's creepy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but isn't
We get
even
sniped.
that is programming?
Right.
You know what I mean? In a way, like, it's all programming.
What do you mean?
Right.
I mean, it's you watching those movies over and over again is
They show
programming.
you-
That idea
It's
of
The
proving-
idea of romance.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. What was I going to say? There was you tripped me with the "Say Anything" reference. I was envisioning myself with the boombox. No, but my parents, and also I get it from the examples.
Right.
Sometimes, but there were examples set in my immediate family, like every one of my my grandparents and my uncles and my parents. My parents are still together after like 30 something years
How
of marriage.
dare you.
Sorry,
How dare you mention that?
but and
Social shaming all of us with
that's
our
not what I
divorce.
meant.
Oh no, Rachel's parents are still together.
Yeah, and my parents.
Yeah,
Damn,
they've been
damn
together.
white people. Damn white people with your stable households.
My parents are still together, and both my grandparents, sets of grandparents, the only thing that separated them was death. And my great aunts and uncles, everyone. I don't know a single person from my family. I don't recall anyone from my family that got a divorce. And my parents got engaged after 5 weeks of dating each other. They met each other 5 weeks later. They were engaged.
Right.
And it's those types of examples that were presented before me. Like I saw, like my parents had the article written about their marriage after it happened, and
Right.
I'm just reading this what seems like a great love story until you spend some time at my parents' house. And I'm just kidding, but they're fine. But
He's always backtracking, bro. Did you not? So you see how we did this with my mom last week? Like you gotta just be honest, man.
no, my parents are great.
Yeah, but
My
you
parents are great. My dad has a bit of a temper, but my parents are great. But But no, it's examples of just like love stories that work out, whether it be in real life or what I see on TV that have molded me to become a.
Hauka said his parents. Sorry, he said his parents are still together too. See, you're just proving my point.
Yeah.
Man.
Is he white?
He's white. Yes.
Okay.
And
He's from-
European.
Yeah, he's from Germany, right?
Yeah.
Mazel tov. And I don't know what that means, but
That is definitely Jewish.
but yeah, it's these, like I said, these examples that have molded me to
But
become the person
you know
who
what's
had the
funny
viewpoints.
is we talk about that on this podcast all the time. Like one of the things that we try to preach is about being an example for your kids.
Just
Move yourself over. Kyle's directing right now. Move yourself
it's
over.
bugging me a little bit. I'm looking at the
Look.
you guys have
Is that
slid
better?
down.
Is
Yes,
that better?
it's a lot better.
So on the podcast, we talk about the importance of men being the example for young girls or their sons on how to be a good father, a good husband, or be that example that you're talking about.
Right.
Because now you look at it, you're trying to navigate a world that doesn't make any sense to you, which is this like, dating, just like sleeping around, this Tinder world. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like that doesn't make any sense to you because of the example that you were given.
I feel like our generation is going to be the generation that really starts the decline of stable marriage. It might not even be marriage after because
don't know, man. I
Because
feel like-
Tinder didn't exist in the generation before us.
Yeah, but AOL did.
Not for my parents.
Yeah.
Morse code. But
Maybe this quarantine might have an effect on even that kind of stuff.
no, there'd be a lot more babies.
There's definitely a lot of things
Right.
that are gonna be weird after this is over. Like
Yeah,
I feel
I think stuff starts to become more apparent.
yeah.
Like your flaws and your.
I mean, definitely gold diggers ain't gonna have that work like they used to after the like during
Yeah.
this quarantine. What are they doing with their lives?
Right.
Wow.
Well, the stuff that you kind of like had comfort in,
Right.
You can't really have that comfort in anymore.
Right.
So it puts.
Are
some
people?
stress.
You think people are still sending money to Instagram thoughts during the quarantine?
What money? I didn't even know that was
I
a
mean-
thing.
Sure, the Instagram thoughts got cameras, man. Like
I'm saying, but
sure,
but people
you know.
are strapped right now.
No.
like they're not going
Not-
to. Are
not-
people going to send their
What
stimulus
about
check?
what
I
about
think-
your bros on that show? What's the show? The show with the
The thoughts.
yes, and the mail order brides.
Oh, 90 Day
90 Day
Fiance.
Fiance.
Them
yeah,
dudes don't have no money.
But that was filmed. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
There's all I'm saying is that premise of dudes being like, yeah, I got
But
$1,000.
the difference. This is. I will make a difference for these dudes because they have the prospect of one day this is going to be my wife. Like
Sure.
they still believe that in their minds.
Yeah.
These Instagram
And
like
strippers love you.
that. Who's the girl that was sending her bath water to people?
Ew.
Like getting people to pay for
I
her
forget
bath
her name,
water.
but I know who you're talking
Like there's this site. There's this app called OnlyFans where people.
That's what I was going to bring up.
Yeah.
It's like now it's not so much paying money to Instagram thoughts on Instagram thoughts.
Well,
thoughts.
they open up an OnlyFans now.
Yeah,
and
now,
then,
now
yeah.
they can subscribe and
Yeah,
tip and stuff
exactly.
and actually get
And
the
you can
receipt that they want.
Right.
You can't show, lady parts on Instagram.
You can on a
But-
DM.
On the
On DM, I guess.
Yeah,
but,
but that's what they were doing,
I guess.
And people were paying them like Cash App them money.
I'm out of the loop on this.
Yeah, so it's
Wow.
a thing. It's like a huge business where like a lot of these girls would, they get their rent paid, they get their bills paid. I mean, there's a whole industry of girls that like think about in New York right now. So like the whole club scene.
Right.
A lot of these club promoters would rent an apartment, this nice apartment, like mansion style, and then they would put all of these models in there and give them free rent, and then they would have to come work the clubs at night to get the clubs packed.
Mm-hmm.
You think that they're still going to pay the rent for those models right now? Some clubs is closed.
Right.
So where does their income come from now? You know what I mean?
Onlyfans.com.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. So do you think like in this economy that OnlyFans is going to support, like people are going to still give money?
Not at $10, $15 subscription, prices per month, maybe, unless they get like thousands of subscribers. Yes, I know the price.
How many are you subscribed to?
2.
That's the problem right there. See, that's the problem right there. You're trying to find a wife and you're on the OnlyFans.
I'm quarantined. I have lady issues.
And that's my second point is that there's a lot of people who still have some money saved and money that, you know, they don't have to put to other responsibilities and they're trapped in their house. So you're still going to see a lot of that. Absolutely. Maybe
But-
not as much. There might be some people who that's their bread usually, and they're going to see a decline because their subscribers are like, nah, girl, we can't pay you this month.
Yeah, I think we're still in the stage with a lot of people where reality hasn't hit them,
Yeah, it's only
you know.
like day 19 or 20.
Like once it starts affecting you immediately, like where people know
right.
are sick and some people are dying,
Yeah.
then it starts to become more real.
Then you're like, do I really need to be on Instagram looking at butts right now?
Right. I don't think
Yeah.
people are going to take it seriously until Will Smith comes out with his dog, starts saving the day.
That was a terrible joke.
I'm sorry.
Gonna keep
I don't
moving
even
on.
get it. But
He's talking about I Am Legend.
You don't watch movies, apparently.
Yeah. It was that bad. It was that bad. Hauka said stuff's gonna become more apparent. That is true.
Yeah.
And he spelled apparent. I'm
gonna chalk that up to autocorrect.
Yeah, I know. But
This means he spelled apparent wrong.
savage.
but
That happens all the
it's
time.
true. I think it is. I think it's the more that we stay in this lockdown, the more that people can't go to work, the more the businesses have to lay people off. You're gonna it automatically puts you in a place of, all right, what's my priorities? You know what I mean? It's just like
Yeah.
we were talking about the buffet thing. Like buffets are cool, but if you're starving, you don't really care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
And and it goes back to comfort. Like
Right.
you want what do we eat to not pay attention? You know what I mean? We eat for comfort.
what's so
'Cause
funny?
I'm trying to get him to understand what I'm saying.
I'm confused.
No,
I
what
wanna
I'm saying
distract
is
my-
that
that's how you get fat.
we can just eat, right? Just eat some food so
Right.
we're not hungry. But what
Right.
I'm saying is when things become more excessive, you eat to have comfort.
Right.
So that a lot of times, and to have comfort is to not pay attention to a lot of the things that are going wrong in your life.
Right.
You know, and
You-
that's just
you-
one of the
I use
things.
liquor for that.
But
Well,
some
that's
people-
another
but
thing.
Some
That's
people
another-
use food. Well, most people use food for that. Like,
Yeah.
think about it. There's a reason why the term comfort food exists. But we talked about that too before, like how crazy a society gets when you become so privileged that things like Top Chef and Chopped and all of these like weird, extravagant, like where someone is sitting there tasting something and being like, you know, the notes of the watercress just doesn't mix well with the. It's like, what are we talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
Like food is food.
Yeah, because you can only do that
Right.
when it's,
Exactly.
that's what's happening now. Like a lot of the stuff that you can't do anymore.
Right.
It's not.
because there's no toilet paper.
Right. That's what it is.
I still don't get that.
Well, people are loading up on stuff just because they're afraid of being quarantined and not being able to leave their house for 2 weeks.
So I
and not
think
have toilet paper.
I think
I'm gonna take this label off.
it's gonna go
It doesn't matter.
one of two ways for people. It's gonna go. You're gonna become more selfish, or you're gonna become less selfish. You're gonna start looking outside instead of looking inside.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or you're just gonna start looking inside. Like
Realistically, what do you think the ratio is on that for people?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have no.
I feel like we have more selfish people than we do selfless people.
I do. Like
Yeah.
I even as simple as going to the grocery store, dude.
Mhm.
Like people are selfish.
Mhm.
You see an old lady trying to pick up, a case of water. Nobody's helping. They're just grabbing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think
Hey.
that's where, if you can see that, then you have an obligation to intercede for that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That's what
Yeah.
intercession is about. It's about praying for people, covering people. Like, if you see that selfishness, you can pray for people.
Mhm.
You know, you can do something for somebody that helps them look outside of themselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Me playing with this is bothering him.
Or you can just yell at that person and be like, what the hell's wrong
Yeah.
with you? That always works.
and that never works.
Yeah. Dude, I
But-
on my like daily when I go to Wawa, usually on my way here or whatever, like the people see me, so they talk to me because I'm there. I pretty much stop there every day. So, it's always like, oh, what's going on? How's everything been with the virus and everything? And they always have some crazy stories about people just acting ridiculous in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because they have to set up these lines where people can only stand 6 feet apart. So you get some people that are super like in fear and yell at everyone because they're not giving them enough space.
Right.
Or yelling at, like the one dude said he grabbed the bottle of water to ring it up and the person like threw it at him and like left the store. It was like, how dare you touch my, like, dude had gloves on.
Yeah.
But
You know what
how
I mean?
many other things did he touch with those same gloves on?
And who do you think touched it
Touched
to put
the
it in the
water,
freaking
yeah.
fridge?
That's true.
Dummy.
Retarded.
Did you
But-
just call me a dummy?
Not you.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying the guy who got mad. And then there's the other
I don't
side.
want to come back.
There's not you, the guy who got mad. Then the other side is like this one girl was telling me about a dude who came in there and they were telling customers like, just make sure you give yourself 6 feet when you line up. And he starts snapping about like, don't try to tell us what to do and this is control and blah blah blah. Everyone blowing this out of proportion. And he like opened up his hoagie and wiped it on the counter and started eating it to
Oh
prove
my goodness.
that coronavirus is some bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and his funeral is next Tuesday.
That's it's like all these.
Yeah, so you have that like
That's nasty.
But like, why you got to do all that? Like, if
Because-
you don't agree with it,
because
just
it's pride. It's the same
Yeah.
reason why people don't like being told anything.
Yeah.
You know what I
So
mean?
people are also low key like going. I don't know where this was. Is that your Jersey Wawa?
yeah.
I know.
My
I know
Jersey
your-
Wawa.
your Jersey
You're
Wawa.
the one.
in Jersey.
Jersey Wawa. In Philly, anyway. Like I know people are. I see it in
Yeah.
the very close. Like talking on the phone. Like even my family. Like they're going nuts. Like
Talk about the lady that with the stroller.
okay, so I'm walking outside, doing a little exercise. Got the kid with me, staying very far away from people. And we pass, so I see one lady coming towards us. It's a very big sidewalk. She's got her dude and her kid in her stroller. So she actually, no, I didn't have the kid with me. This was just me by myself. So she sees me and she immediately is like she freaking panics.
Don't come near me.
And there's like the ski factor half a block away. And I'm like, okay, so you're on the street side. I'm going to go walk along these houses and not breathe anywhere near you. So I very much distanced myself and made it obvious that I was doing so. There's two runners. So I did that. We pass. She's like freaking out, but we pass and everything's fine. And even then I'm like, so if you had paranoid, cross the street.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I'm
Yeah.
on the inside here.
Or
What do
stay
you want
your ass
me to do?
inside. You still want to go for walks? You know what I mean?
And she's like, got her baby. Like, someone's going to breathe on my baby. Like,
Yeah.
that's all over her face.
Right.
So there's two runners coming up behind me towards her. So as the runners come up behind me, the lady's taking out her earphone, telling her runner friend, these runners are happy-go-lucky. They are not social distancing. They're just running. And the runner tells her friend, yo, that lady just yelled at me. She was like, you have to move. You have to move. Because we ran too close to her. And I, like, told Jamie this story. And I'm like, it's ridiculous out here. Like, the thing is, if you're walking with your kid and you want someone to move or you don't want to be close to people, it's your responsibility to cross the street. It's your responsibility to get away from the people that you think
Right.
might breathe on your baby. It's not your responsibility to literally be out here in the open air telling people, you have to move, you
Right.
have to move. Like,
Right.
what is happening? And meanwhile, the runners are like, this idiot.
Yeah.
You know, like, you're not 70. Why are you screaming at us? That
Right.
kind of attitude.
People are stupid now.
Yeah.
What is the stupid? The stupidness that is going on, especially when you go to a supermarket and a liquor store, and you still see that all the beer is taken with the exception of the stack of Corona. I don't understand
I
it.
love it, man. I love it. I know.
I'm sure Corona's having a hard time.
That's a trigger right
the
now.
Modelo Brewing Company is so upset with the naming of this virus. And then they changed it to COVID-19, but it's like the damage has been done. You know what I mean? We just want to say Francis London said, look at Jake, LOL. Have no idea what
Okay.
that
Hey,
means.
what's up?
Look at you, Jake. It's funny.
Look at him.
Speaking of stupid people,
Yeah.
what's the drug now that they just approved?
Hydrochloroquine?
Hydrochloroquine.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the story about
Yes.
the fish tank
Yes.
shit?
What is this?
Yes.
Stupid.
You guys didn't hear
Hear
this
about
fish
this?
tank?
What's going
Besides stupid, what is it? What's the story?
So before the FDA approved this, which they just did, right?
Well,
Recently.
no, the FDA had approved the drug already, but it was
Well, they
for-
used it for other stuff.
It was for the use of malaria and some other illnesses that this drug, hydrochloroquine.
First of all, it wasn't it was just chloroquine that was in this stuff anyway.
And a bunch of other shit.
A bunch of other
Yeah,
shit.
but I mean, like it wasn't
It was
hydro.
But we didn't even get there yet.
Okay.
You skipping all the way
All
to.
right, I'm just
I'm already lost.
Yeah, exactly. So,
People putting acid in their body. What is
so they were doing trials in like Europe and in China with this, and in Korea as well with this drug called hydrochloroquine that had been used for malaria in the past, and they were seeing positive results. There's a few like epidemiology studies that are being done.
It's a good word.
Where they're trying to figure out like if this is a good treatment for the coronavirus, for the COVID-19 or whatever. So. There's a press conference on TV with Fauci and Trump, and he's talking about this fact that the FDA is trying to see if this could be approved for COVID-19. It's been approved already for stuff in the past.
They're doing testing
and they're
in
doing
New York.
testing, and it could be a positive thing. Blah blah
Yeah.
blah. So then, two random people. You found an
Arizona.
article. Two random people in Arizona find some fish tank cleaner in their cupboard.
Well, they're like, no, they're like, oh, that's the stuff that's in our fish tank cleaner.
So they find some fish tank cleaner that is like an algae remover type thing, and one of the chemicals in there is something called chloroquine, which is different than hydrochloroquine,
oh.
right? Those, if you know anything about chemistry, you know what I mean. Hydrochloric acid,
Right.
is water, right?
What?
No,
It's
wait.
not water.
No.
Hydrochloric acid is very
Nah,
acidic.
I meant
It burns people.
Chloric acid is burnt. Yeah.
hydro dioxide acid or something like that is another term for water. But like if you take out one, if you add one little other element to something, it
Right.
can make it deadly.
Yes.
Basically. So they drank this fish tank cleaner. They didn't even have coronavirus, but they drank it
To
thinking
prevent,
that it would prevent.
Both out?
I love the camera. I have one still. Hold
Okay.
on a second. Or maybe I don't. No, I don't.
You have no
I
cameras.
don't have any cameras. So I can put it back on this article.
Yeah,
if we
go
wanna
back to the
try and
article.
fix them. Let's see. Okay.
It's a pretty question, Mike.
Well, we can keep talking.
Are we taking a
about
pause on the conversation?
So
You edit this part out.
So anyway, so these people drank the fish tank cleaner, and the husband died, and the wife ended up in the hospital, and then they're trying to say that like
They're blaming it on Trump.
because he mentioned that in the press conference that he told people to drink.
Well,
you know,
yeah,
this-
a lot of the media were.
Idiots.
They've
Yeah.
reported it, blaming it on Trump.
Yeah, it's just been a lot of misinformation going on in the media, and a lot of like fake stories. And they make it worse. They make this whole thing worse because
And even like for you to go to that point, because like I don't even like throwing the word stupid around
yeah,
because
sorry.
like no, just because I think it's more of a fear thing with people. You know what I mean? Like they're afraid. They're that afraid that they're gonna go and take this stuff. Because when you're in fear, you do stupid
You
stuff.
do erratic.
Yeah,
You
you,
don't.
do stuff you don't think a lot of times.
Yeah.
You do stuff you normally wouldn't do. So, I think the fear aspect is greater than anything else. I was at the supermarket too, and the guy they have like now you guys probably saw it, like they have lines where like 6 feet lines.
They have stickers
Yeah,
all over
right.
the
we were
place
talking
on the
about
floor.
Tape.
Wawa earlier. They do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they got it. I was at Wegmans.
Okay.
And what they do at Wegmans is they wipe down everything. They wipe down the conveyor. They wipe down the pad, the touch pad. They wipe down the, the scanner.
Right.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
They
Wipe
wipe
down
down everything, right? So one person goes, they make them like put all their stuff down at the line. They can't go forward.
Mm.
And then they can come forward after they have scanned everything and pay. And then they have like a guard in front of them. And then the person who's there, they have to wait behind this other line that's like 6 feet. There's like 2 6 feet lines. So the 12 feet behind, right? You can't go until those people have gone and then they clean everything again. Then they say, okay, come on. So it's if you're not there a lot, you're not going to know this, right? Obviously. So the guy, he goes up to put his stuff on. The lady's like, sir, can you wait a second and then go back? So he gets mad. because he don't want to be told what to do.
Right.
And I'm in back of him, and he's like talking to me like, "Oh, this is bullshit," and I'm like, "Just." She's trying to do her job.
You gotta be respectful.
I saw a security guard at Wawa on my way here. They actually had security making sure everyone was doing what they were supposed to do.
Wow.
No, apparently that's it. You have any?
No, but
Okay.
so the guy actually got more mad and more mad because after he went up to put his stuff on and she told him to wait, then he put his finally she cleaned off everything. He put his stuff on. Then she's like, "All right, sir, you can put your stuff on." So then he went to move forward. He was like, "No, you have to wait." She said, "No, you have to wait there." He gets mad again. Like, this is some bullshit, right? So then gets his stuff. She scans it, and then she gives him the receipt, and he's like, "I don't want that shit. You touched it."
Damn.
So it's like, and then she just laughs because it's like she's probably been getting it all day, but it's just
It's really testing the temperament of people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's something different, that you have to. It's a little bit more time. You have to go through something, and people who are impatient, people who are selfish, again, it can affect you because other people like do whatever you need to do. I don't want to get nothing,
Right.
or they'll even go more crazy. Wait, did you watch that? You need to do more. So it can affect people in different ways, but you're still selfish. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's really about coming outside of yourself, looking at the situation around you.
Did y'all see the dude from My Pillow being a G?
Yeah. What?
My Pillows.
Yeah.
You know that dude you always see on the My Pillow commercial?
Yeah, that guy.
So apparently
He got the porn stash.
he converted his factories to like 75% of their production is making masks now.
Okay.
So he did that just to
It's the softest mask on earth.
yeah, right.
And did you see how when he went on there, CNN turned that shit
Oh
off?
yeah, I did see that, man.
What do you mean?
Hilarious.
Turn what off?
They stopped showing the briefing.
Oh, what?
Yeah, like they just totally just turned it off.
And he even said that was kind of cool. He said, "Yeah, something about I believe people need to, they have more time to get in the Word and study the Bible a little bit,
Right.
which was kind of cool because you don't hear that a lot."
What, this is the My Pillow guy saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So
Hey, man.
He doesn't just sell
Lay your
pillows.
head on that
Yeah.
pillow and do some prayer.
Yeah. Fall asleep on the
Lay
pillow.
your head on my pillow.
but
He should make that his jingle.
There you go.
Lay
So
your head on my
I
pillow.
wanted to.
all
I'll
they're
pitch
ready
that
for
to
him.
him. I came up with that.
And just relax.
I wanted to show this picture of my son.
Okay.
'Cause, talking
I
about
saw.
quarantine, and yeah, we got a couple of videos too. But so anybody who is, I guess women are going through this too. They can't get their hair did if they don't know how to do
My
it.
wife's eyebrows is like, bang, boy.
I don't know what to do.
So a lot of people, my brother-in-law, he tried to cut his own hair, and he's like, he's got patches.
Damn.
Yeah, but so a lot of people are not doing too good with the whole.
Dude, I need a cut so bad. I will
Quarantine
not.
thing.
I will not make everybody see how bad my haircut
I
is.
swear that hat is sewn to your head now.
But my son, this guy decided he was downstairs in the basement with my daughter. My daughter, for some reason, doesn't even tell me this till the next day. Right? So I'm looking at my son's head in the morning, and I'm like, why do you look like somebody from the Middle Ages? Right? There it is. And you can't tell because his hair's kind of back a lot, but
Lord.
it's straight across. Like he cut it straight across, and it was like going down to his eyes. But
So he decided he was going to cut his bangs off.
he decided he just took some paper, those plastic scissors that you cut paper with. He's got them scissors and cut straight across his head.
Oh, I did the same type of stuff when I was kidding. Y'all cut your own hair as children?
I didn't,
I
but Jake did.
I did.
We
Yeah.
talked about that on here before. He cut his own hair, but this goes back to the Jake was too cool for everyone when we were kids. So we had just got haircuts the day before.
Ooh,
Okay?
someone was
Did
pissed
we?
off.
Yeah,
I was probably like, I want to.
he didn't like it.
I didn't
It wasn't
like it,
good
yeah.
enough. So he said, "I'm gonna fix it," and ended up shaving off the whole side of his head.
But see, but that story shows you how I cut my hair myself today, right?
Right.
Because I learned.
Because you're never
never
satisfied with
satisfied.
someone else's job.
Right.
So you cut your own hair.
Yeah.
Moon cuts his own hair.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why are you left behind, Jake?
Because I don't have the time to learn that. So Jake cuts my hair.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't
Jake
you
used
just
to
cut
cut
his
my hair too,
Mm.
but
I
I
mean,
decided to.
Y'all
learn.
need to help Jamie out.
Please help me out.
Just he has
Give me
too
a
many
haircut,
options to
man.
be complaining about his hair right now.
Too many options, like all these chicks, huh?
Oh yeah, full circle. Back to chicks.
It's a
How many
buffet
people
out
are
here.
dealing with like hair issues right now, trying to cut their hair?
Dude, hair, nails. You know, a lot of girls is looking hurt right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
All the nail salons is closed down.
Mm.
Can't get their hair done.
You're about to say weaves.
The weave can't get fixed.
You're about to.
I was about to say weaves. Wigs is looking crazy right now.
Do you have that one with the little kid that cut all the kids' hair? I don't know if people saw this, but it is hilarious, and it just reminded me of my son. But this is like times 10.
Because, look, Teddy found the buzz cutter. Eloise, turn around. Turn around.
She is so.
Oh, my God. Look it. Do you like your haircut? No. Turn around. Why'd you let brother do that?
She said she wanted me to do that a lot, and so I did it.
He lying.
Okay.
Wanted to
All right,
show
it's
me.
just hair. It's hair, and it's gonna grow back, and mommy's okay. Did you
Oh,
cut
she's
Fred's
so
hair?
sad.
a little.
A
Okay.
little bit. That's the
Honesty,
baby.
that's good. It's just hair. It grows back. Okay?
All right.
Wow.
Hey, can you show? There's one where a guy's cutting his
That was cute.
I guess it's like his brother or something's hair. I think it's like the first one I sent you out of the videos.
Love kids.
Yeah. This one is hilarious.
What's the setup on this?
So he's giving him a shape up.
Oh snap! That hairline from jump is crazy.
I love the kid in the background.
Yeah. Why is he doing it on live though?
He starts crying.
Yo, everybody's all the laughing emojis. Oh, that's messed up.
Oh, he's not going anywhere. Who's he trying to impress?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. He doesn't realize how quick that's going to grow back.
Right.
Nobody has to see you. Well, everybody saw them.
Well, you
Yeah,
didn't-
yeah.
You didn't realize at that age either, because you was
There's
in there.
one girl he had in mind that he was
Yeah.
just like, this
Yeah.
is over
Yeah.
for me.
Can't
the-
post no selfies.
Got the Wayne Brady hairline.
Right?
From ear to ear.
Yeah, man. So I want to ask you a question because
I'm afraid.
Here we go.
Hold on. Let me
since we're on the topic of hair,
read this real quick.
what is it?
Rosie says, some people are already fearful, but being misinformed helps to add to the fear. Coming out of the character doesn't help. If we can slow down, take a step back, and obey the orders that are in place, I think it will be a little bit easier for us to deal with the pandemic.
And get better haircuts.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't being rational out there.
What were you going to ask me?
So we were on the topic of hair, right? Talking about girls, especially chicks that can't get their weaves fixed up and everything. And I thought about how you pretty much exclusively date black chicks, right?
Right.
So what is your experience with the weave? And
Excuse me?
no, I'm just we've talked about this on here before.
Okay.
It's not a big deal. Was it something that you had to get used to? And what do you think? Do you care if a girl has weave or natural hair? Is that something that you even think about, or does it? Do you prefer one or the other?
I mean, this is going to sound like I'm trying to be PC, but it's the truth. I like it if it makes her comfortable.
Okay.
Because as long as the woman is comfortable in if she's comfortable in her own hair or in a weave, I mean, she's going to feel better about herself and she's going to look better about
you lying to
herself.
us,
I'm
or
not
you
lying to
just-
you.
Was there a learning curve for you though? Because I know a lot of
I will say this: I don't like wigs.
okay.
Wigs.
You had some bad experiences with the wigs.
I was
What if she's comfortable in the wig?
just comfortable in the wig.
Then I'll have to be comfortable without the wig.
There's really not much I can do. But it was
That's where he draws the line.
Talk about it. Talk about
I was having it was a
We don't have to say names.
It was a sexual experience.
Uh huh.
We were going to town,
Right.
and the wig came off, and I was
Did you
freaked
pull,
out.
Did you pull the wig off?
Nope,
Okay.
It
It
was-
just fell off.
it fell off.
She didn't take it off. It just fell
That
off.
fell off.
And you were like, I've been duped.
I was like, I knew.
Was she old?
No, she wasn't old. It was just it was her choice to wear the wig. I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of young. The older.
This is Moan. You have no
Right.
I
experience
don't.
here.
Because I don't like it either way.
Everybody wearing wigs. Wigs are like
When-
actually the thing.
when I got-
Everybody's wearing
When I
wigs.
was
Yeah.
dating my wife, she used to wear like weaves and stuff like that. I told her I don't like it,
Yeah.
and she stopped.
I mean, a good weave looks good. I mean, it's just it's just a
But it's
hairstyle.
nasty I'm
though,
interested
dude.
because you didn't grow up around that, right?
No,
So when you first how old were you when you first found out and understood the weave situation? with
okay.
girls?
So my first girlfriend, if you want to call it that, if you want to call her that, she had natural hair,
Okay.
and I guess you know what the next person I was ever with, she had a wig on. The person after that had natural hair. The person after that, it was probably like my fifth or sixth person I was dating before I actually came across someone who had a
How many
weave.
girlfriends have you had, man?
There's a difference between. Well,
See?
I'm not really setting myself up for a good thing here, but I've had probably 3 or 4 girlfriends, and then
A plethora.
a plethora of girls that I was dating.
Right.
So it was just people I've been seeing, and it was probably like the fifth or sixth woman that I was dating or going out with that had a weave, and I didn't mind it. You just don't pull on it. You're good.
So another question.
Or help her take it out.
No, you're on your own now. I'm not doing it. That's a weird experience.
Do you think that the racial barrier is something that is getting in the way?
Of weaves?
No. Of your dating, you're finding someone like we talked about you trying to find someone that for finding someone for love.
Right.
Like, have you had any experience where like the racial barrier is a thing or no?
Maybe. I mean, in certain there is something.
Like, why do I have to talk about this?
What's the big deal? Like, this is people. Like,
This
people
is
are,
Jamie's game.
people are interested in this stuff.
He says it's not a big deal
It's not a big
until
deal.
people ask you about it later. Like, by the way, I'm glad there's no drinking because last time I was here, I said some things I probably shouldn't have. It really had a problem with old people. But
I was gonna bring some beers, but
yeah, probably a good idea. No Coronas. It was Heineken last time we were drinking.
Yeah.
Yes. I had 2 and I had to really piss. But there was what were we talking about?
We're talking about the racial, your racial experience with dating, because we've talked about it from the other end. Like James, my brother-in-law that comes on here, he dated a few white girls when he was trying to figure out his situation, and he's talked about his experiences there and like the things that he's ran into. So I'm interested and curious about that. I'm sure other people are too.
Well, I guess there's something that I kind of failed to realize.
Right.
Now, I always viewed it as a stereotype
Mm-hmm.
that different, racial groups have different ways of upbringing. Mm-hmm. I tend to fall more on the side of people are people,
Right.
and people are brought up the way people are brought up. Now, there could be various different ways people are brought up, various different ways that people are taught to learn and act, but it's not so much per racial class. It's more so, if any class, it might be social economic,
Right. That's definitely a factor.
Cultural.
cultural, but not so much racial. To be honest with you, there's been more black women who disagree with that that I've dated that definitely feel like racial classes really determine the way they've been brought up, or I don't know, maybe they've been told that's the case.
Right.
I really think that there have been certain quirks that are just particular to me that just get written off as, oh, it's just white guy stuff.
Right.
Like, so I was dating somebody and she was in the shower, and while she was in the shower, I was kind of like, she's got clean clothes in all these baskets just hanging around in her room. So I started folding them. You know, I was trying to do a nice gesture.
Rachel was like, "Who are you?"
I was like, she had been saying that I've been meaning to fold these for a long time, but she's just been so busy and distracted that she hadn't gotten a chance to do it. So I was trying to do her a favor.
See, this is where you're going wrong.
We need to find Kyle a wife.
This is where you're going wrong, man.
I don't understand what the problem is.
See, that's
dude folds
I'll
clothes.
tell you the problem right now is that you're focusing this energy on people who don't appreciate shit like
Yeah,
that.
he's
guess.
right. What he said.
You know what I'm saying? So like,
And as I was doing it, she was like, this is the white person in you, isn't it? First of all, the white person in me, I'm a white person. There's
But-
not like a smaller white person inside is already pre-existing
how
white
is
It's a
person.
stupid comment
How
to make.
dumb
on
does
her
that
part.
sound?
That she sounds real dumb.
the fact that you want to fold clothes is because you're white, like that's retarded. Like, come on, like
That's
You're considerate.
that's not somebody that you want to date.
Yeah.
I guess.
That would turn into a girlfriend and then marriage. Like,
right.
and those are the signs that you got to kind of pick up on. You know, the more as you go. Like, do you now? Let me ask you a question though. Before, do you date exclusively African American?
Well, are you serious?
African American? I will say it again.
Have you ever dated Africans?
Yes.
So then that answers your question.
Okay.
Yes, I have.
Okay. Black.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Exclusively.
Like the melanin.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. There was one drunk moment where I slept with the white person.
And you regretted it?
I not regret. It was just, it was just,
You were
just
like,
a
this wasn't for me. I
a
knew
thing
it
that
all
happened.
along.
So you're just attracted to.
I'm just
That's your
attracted.
preference.
Yeah.
You like chocolate.
I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
It tastes sweet. But no, it's
Did you grow up around that, or how did that become a thing for you? Watching Beyonce videos?
no.
Destiny's Child, say my name, say my name.
No, actually, you know what? When I was younger, when I was in elementary, middle school, I had this crush on this girl for the longest time who was white.
Okay.
It was probably like 8 years. I met her in 4th grade. I had a crush on her until like high school, some year in high school, and then I had a crush on someone else who was black. I thought she was absolutely gorgeous. She ends up liking girls now, so it would have been a lost cause. But then I think my first girlfriend was black. I know there was that there was something about black women.
Was it because you connected to the music?
I don't know if that's so much the case. Maybe it has something that I'm not aware about. That maybe it's a huge coincidence, but there was something just so beautiful about black women that it just resonates with me. It's like there's I keep seeing this stuff on the internet about black women being brought up to feel like that they're less than superior,
least desirable.
Yeah.
Well, when you look at, I think there's like been statistics on they ranked everyone from like OkCupid. You can go on there and you can rank people. So they use statistics to rank like
Right.
what races were the most desirable, and I think black women were at the bottom.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's terrible. There is something so beautiful about a black woman. Black is beautiful. That's a phrase.
I agree.
And I mean, I don't know what
Women in general.
Yep. Yes, in general. But for me, it's it's my preference. I've been told by people like black males who there have been a couple who have been upset with me, calling it a fetish,
Right.
Not so much of a type.
And some girls will think that you're fetishizing them.
Is that a word?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
It's the soft fetishized that fetishized.
I didn't say
Like, wasn't it?
shize. I said shized. Fetishizing.
It just didn't sound like a word to me.
Well, I made it a word.
There you go.
No, but there is because I know, for example, my wife who is half black, half Indian,
Right.
But she looks black. But
She looks like Ethiopian,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is probably a mixture of the two. Anyway.
Right, exactly. She's darker skinned.
Right.
So Look, see, there we go.
Fet-
Thank you.
Hold on.
Look, he's got to pull the glasses.
Gotta see. Pull that back up, Rachel. I guess you're right. Fetishize. Not fetishized.
Make something the object of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know from her telling me her experience because she went to like her days of going to clubs and stuff like that. She hung around with a lot of the white crowd, and a lot of times the dudes that hit on her was like a fetish vibe.
Really?
You know what I mean? So there is that aspect of it, but you know, for you, if that's something that you do, like when there's a difference between when a guy says, you know, oh, you're pretty for a black girl,
Right.
or I've never dated a black girl, but you're beautiful. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that is when they alarm bells go off, and it's like, okay, this
Right.
guy's just fetishizing.
Yeah, he's just trying to find something new.
Right, but you, that's your actual preference.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that people should be judging either way. Like,
yeah, I don't either.
you know what I mean?
But
Like,
that's why I was gonna say my point is that like it's kind of ignorant for someone to just say to you that it's wrong for you to prefer that. You know what I mean? Just like it would be wrong for someone to say that a black dude that prefers white girls is wrong. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
if you're attracted to it, you're attracted to it. I think though, it's the wisdom comes in the inner beauty,
right.
and that's where like sometimes people get focused on the outer beauty and they don't pay attention to what's going on underneath.
Well, that's,
There's that, but for me at least, I'm sure it's true for a lot of people. There's got to be something to make me want to approach you in a crowded room,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
so if the
I don't approach women in crowded rooms, so
well, not anymore, but you
don't,
can't have crowded rooms.
I never did that. That
But-
wasn't my vibe. So
Well, I'm
I feel
just
like
saying,
you're
this
when
is
you're
more of a
doing
s-
that,
this is more of a
you're setting
scenario.
yourself up for failure from jump. Like that
Why?
whole approaching people in crowded rooms.
Like in
mean,
a bar
there's
or
a
like
reason-
or a grocery store or on a train with
There's a
Lance, with
reason
Lance
why
Bass on the
people-
train.
There's a reason why people had what are they called? Arranged marriages.
yeah,
Like there's some
For land.
truth to that. No, because they know the families, they know the respect, they know
they know the upbringing,
characteristics of that family.
they know the
and-
belief system,
right.
they know the community.
So there's some truth to that,
Right.
you know.
They end up working.
In a way.
And when you're going up to a random person, that's kind of like
where
and
your
you're
whole-
basing it
your whole
basically
base is off of beauty.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's when you walk up to a random person and you find out that she's a nitwit, then you just stop talking.
Right.
But how long does that take?
But-
Sometimes, you don't find that out until you wasted 2-3 years.
Yeah.
2-3 years to find out someone's
Some people
deranged or
some people
messed up or
waste
not
20
compatible.
years. Some people waste 20 years.
I think that is no. I think like if it's taken that much time, there has been a change that's happened. You can't tell
Not
me that's
necessarily. There's some.
Sometimes-
it's saying it takes 20 years for someone to be comfortable enough to show their true self, and it's someone
No,
that's not compatible.
sometimes it takes 20 years for you to finally get to the point where you realize you're not going to change someone.
Yeah. Or
Oh, well, that's stubbornness. That's a completely different thing.
no, I mean, there's ignorance, there's blindness. You can be blind to something, and also some like if you have somebody who's looking at what they want to look at, like
Right.
and imagining somebody for what they internally they're like projecting their beliefs on that person, right? And then you have the other person who is trying to be what they think that person wants them to be. You know what I mean? That can go on for a while.
We saw that with one of the marriages my mom was talking about from last
Yeah.
week. So we went through like how she could like, and that's another example of someone who doesn't understand the signs to look for can take them a while, or sometimes they will make excuses for everything that's going wrong around them until the person just leaves them. You know what I mean?
Even what you're saying makes me feel like the problem is more on the person more than the partner.
What do you mean? Which person?
Like the person from the viewpoint of what you're talking about.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
It's not so much.
I'm not
Well,
saying the
it's-
fault is anyone's. I'm saying it can happen.
It's
though.
always on the chooser,
Right.
Right.
You know, it's always on the one who picks the person.
Well, you both pick.
Right. But
So it's
but
both-
what I'm
it's
saying
on
is
both of
like
y'all.
what I'm saying is that like the person who's you can't be like, he did this and he did
Kyle
that,
strongly
or she did this and
disagrees.
she did that. It's always, you got to look at yourself every time.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and there's always stuff that you didn't see.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I agree, with parts of what you're saying. I just don't think that. I don't know what to think anymore. No, it's different in every scenario. But the point I was trying to make is that for me, is like I am attracted to you first before I try to find out what you are.
Yeah,
who
which
you
is
are.
fine. But what we're saying is that there's a level of wisdom that comes with even being able to see.
Right, and that comes through discovery. After you already started talking to the person,
But if
right?
you know-
can you look at someone
No.
and just get their aura?
No. What I'm saying is that to talk to somebody, if you don't have the right measuring stick, if you can't measure it, don't turn this into something else.
So there's the idea, and a lot of people make this mistake where you visually look at someone and they check off all these boxes that attract you so much that you will overlook all of these other red flags about personality traits because you're so physically attracted to them.
Right. Or
You know what I mean?
just can't see them.
There's people that
If you're blind,
but that's what
you
I'm
can't
talking
see.
about. You overlook them. That means you can't see them.
Well,
You're actually literally
overlook,
blind.
overlook can mean that you just overlooked it because you didn't want to see it.
That's ignoring.
It's ignoring.
But yeah, so it's like, remember we were talking about before, like dudes will say the level of hotness can counterbalance the level of crazy of a girl, which you're willing to put up with, right? Like dudes talk about that all the time.
I
Like,
can understand that being a thing. It's not a thing for me.
it's not a thing for you because
Right.
you're not like that. But what I'm saying is that concept exists. And
Yeah.
the same thing exists for a woman too, where it's like, the
Again, that's
level-
putting all the value of that person on her looks.
right, which is a depreciating asset.
Yes.
Right.
Because one day she's going to be old and haggard and still,
And you still gotta
an a-hole.
You still gotta love that chick.
Right.
Right? You still gotta find a way to look at her and say, you're everything I want.
Yeah, you're still a good person.
Yeah. Right.
Please be a good person.
So that's the thing. Like if the whole decision is totally based off of beauty and you're trading beauty for whatever, eventually that trade is not gonna benefit you anymore
Right.
because the value of that trade goes away.
Right.
So there has to be a level of seeing the other value. Like you said, like the beauty is what attracts you to someone
Right.
initially.
Right.
But that has to go away the minute you start talking to them.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to now be searching for the other values that they have that line up with you. You know what I mean? And the problem is that a lot of people, the beauty will make them say, I'll search for the values later. You know what I'm saying?
Or mold them.
Or like,
into-
I'm willing to bend on some certain things because, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Right.
think people are more like self-loving than actual like loving other people in a way where like, all right, I can deal with that because
Right.
this is what I want in my life. I'll deal with that because you're going to give me this. It's more like
It's a trade.
give and take,
Yeah.
a trade. Yeah.
What do you mean by
that's what I'm saying.
self-loving in how you just used it?
Like, I'm gonna
He means selfish, basically.
yeah
self-serving.
Well, self-loving because I wanted to put love in there because
Oh.
it's like you're actually just loving yourself. It's not like
Oh.
an outward love.
But you're supposed to
It's-
love yourself.
You're only. Oh, what I'm saying is,
I'm just
tell
what I'm
you.
saying is, you're only
I'm just
giving
joking.
love so that you can get it back. You get what I'm saying? Like
Right.
that's the only way you're gonna love, and
Right.
that's not real love.
right.
You know?
Like you're only folding clothes because you want something from the girl.
That's not true.
I know, but what I'm saying is that could be, right? There's dudes that will take that approach.
And I understand why women are afraid of that type of
Right,
stuff
right.
because it's if people were using, just even subtle nice gestures as opposed to grand gestures. I think that folding clothes is a more small gesture.
Yeah, it is.
But for some people, it could just be a gesture to get some ass.
But
and they've been brainwashed.
But think about this: that same chick that is cringed out by you folding her clothes would. If some dude wanted to fly her to a beach somewhere, she want to take that trip, even
Right.
though that's definitely he's expecting something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
but it's so the logic behind that makes no sense,
Yeah. What is she gonna get out of you folding her clothes?
right?
Folded
You know.
clothes.
Clothes.
Folding clothes.
She ain't got to do.
Yeah.
It's not much for her, but a trip.
Yeah,
Now,
right.
that's now she'll give a little bit more because she's gonna get.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the separation of the gestures that really bugs me. That how I feel like grand to a point is creepy, but then going on a trip, which is extremely grand,
Right.
is acceptable.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's why the logic of it doesn't make
Where
any
does the blurry line start and end when those
Well, I
things?
think that whole, even in that measuring of those things, you're in a world that doesn't make sense.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
you're even trying to measure it by the wrong. You got a faulty measuring
Right.
stick. You know what I mean?
Like I said, I'll bring it back to being on the spectrum. My world lives and dies on having those things set, on being
Right.
able to be in a more organized world.
I think that's a good thing, though.
Yeah, me too.
I honestly think that's a better thing. I think when you that initial like black and white and it doesn't line up with your black, then it's not for you. And don't
Yeah.
try to find, well, where's the gray area? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
no pun intended on that range because he likes black chicks. But
I was going to say something. I decided to leave it alone.
but what I'm saying is like, don't try to find the gray area. Like, just settle for, things don't make sense because something's not right,
right.
and then just accept that and move on.
Yeah, it's about your intention. You know your intention. They don't know your intention.
Right. Don't put it on you because it's not on you.
Yeah.
Don't put it on you because, oh, how was I supposed to know that me showing up at your house after you ignored me for 2 days and we had plans to go somewhere was the wrong move? Like, you're not supposed to know that. You did the right thing. She's the dummy. You know what I mean? So, like, you don't what she did right there was she did you a favor and
Yeah.
showed you that
Oh,
she's
yeah.
not mature enough to even be in a relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And when you think about like real love hopes all things.
Right.
So believes all things. So like they're gonna look at you in a way where they're gonna hope the best for you, your
Right.
intention,
Right.
what you
Right.
did. There's patience. So like even things that you don't do, there like there's patience there. Like you see none of that.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like there's nothing there for that. It's like, oh, ghosted.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's selfishness. That's not love.
Right.
You know,
Right.
that's not even like there could be glimpses of love. And that's the thing that you can work with. You can't work with selfishness.
No.
You know?
And it's 100%,
Glimpses of Love is a
It's
good song lyric.
100% apparent because when you think about it, like the same chick that will say, that was weirded out by that gesture, she'd be willing to accept some dude cursing her to hell out because that's the dude she wants. You know what I'm saying? That's the
Right.
dude she wants.
So she's already perverted in
This
her
dude
mind.
can get away with, lying to her, telling her he's showing up and then don't show up and ghost her for 2 days and she still be chasing
Right.
him. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you have to keep
That's
that
the-
in mind.
And if you think about that, like that is a mind thing.
Right.
And how do you guard your heart? It's from the mind. So the moment somebody does something, they're gonna guard it or they let their guard down. And somebody who lets that in, you know what I mean, that straight up manipulation,
Right.
which is easy because again, that's how we used to sell phones. Like you talk down to
NCDs.
Yeah, NCDs. Like you degrade somebody and then they put their guard down.
It's the Patrice O'Neal effect. You ever hear him talk about how he's a bear hunter?
I did not hear that joke. No.
Well, this is from his conversations about women and his concepts on dating. He has a lot of like wild.
I've listened to both of his albums and the Elephant in the Room special, but I don't remember that.
You got to listen to his just go search like some of his talks on Opie and Anthony when he used to guest.
So it's a radio appearance.
Yeah, he used to guest on there all the time, and he used to
Yeah.
just rant about relationships and women and stuff like that. So he talks about how he's a bear hunter and like you have to have the right. He said he was like white women you can get with just like nuts and berries and stuff like that. He was like you just walk out there and he said he likes bears. He's about and certain black chicks that have that attitude. You got to be a bear hunter. You know what I mean? And you got to be able to. But what he's saying is like, and this is the approach we used to use a lot of times. And I try to tell this to my brother-in-law James too, because when he meets a girl that is a little aggressive, he kind of like doesn't know how to handle that.
Right.
And I tell him like, you got to match it and surpass their aggression, and then they totally turn around. You know what I mean?
What do you mean aggressive in what way?
Just in energy.
Okay.
in energy. So like what they're trying to do is they're trying to assert
Dominant.
the
Dominance.
dominance over you, and but it's their way of measuring you if you're a man or not. It's a weird like it's this weird animalistic dance, and it's like we learned how to deal with that over the years. Moan
It's
too,
a
like,
survival technique.
yeah, it's a survival tactic from just growing up in certain neighborhoods and dealing with
yeah.
certain type of dudes.
It's from growing up in the wild. Because
Right.
he's talking about going into the wild. It's
Right.
about growing up
Right.
in the wild.
Right.
Yeah.
So you develop this tactic of like you have to raise them on their aggression and I don't know, it's a hard thing to explain, but like you basically have to talk to them like shit and then
You can't be too nice.
No.
and then
Which is not.
but
Which is totally not.
this was our
true.
tactic for selling CDs.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is someone you
Tuh.
would marry.
No,
You know?
but I'm
Right.
saying it's not something. It works because you continually feed their weakness.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Right.
you're feeding their weakness, and they're being fed, and that's what keeps that relationship going.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's actually toxic and harmful,
Yeah.
Right.
to both people.
I try to be. Now you said, Moon, under your breath about being too nice. I don't know. I don't like to be disrespectful at all. But apparently, even just being nice, compliments. People don't know how to take compliments anymore.
You're right.
It's really tough. Like there have been, a handful of girls out of the last couple of girls I've gone out with and dated. I'll just say like, you really look nice today. Like, oh, thank you.
Right.
And a lot of it, I've asked someone to explain it, a couple to explain it, and it comes from a place of self-doubt, bringing themselves down because of what they've been experienced in the past. I'm like, what have people been doing to each other?
I don't think so. I think it comes from a place of, I know I look. I don't need you to tell me I look nice. I got people telling me I look nice all day on Instagram.
I know the difference between the way that sounds, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can just lump it all into that.
No, there's just been this person that I've been seeing lately. Says that she doesn't take compliments well because it comes from a place like of bringing herself down for some reason. I feel like in her past she's had a couple of things said about her, and so now it's hard to believe when people actually tell her a compliment, even though that she's like stunningly gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think.
I feel like she feels like she's had this stage of life where she felt like she wasn't attractive.
Right.
Though I'll see pictures of those stages that she's talking about and not know what she's talking about. But she believes that those stages actually existed and people were not altogether nice.
Right.
So now, even though like she's worked very hard on her self-image and she's beautiful, when people pay her a compliment, she doesn't take it as well as she should, or take it seriously, or believe it.
I think
it's
that's
a very
little bit
weird
of
thing.
What Jamie was saying though, but also like it's kind of like I don't believe you
Right.
because I'm afraid to believe you.
Mm.
And not only that, like she put the work in. Like when you put the work in for something, it's hard to like that's a pride there too. Like that's a difference from just accepting somebody's love. Like when
Right.
you just say like when you just give, like you said, it's hard for people to receive.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you're giving somebody a compliment. That's like a form of love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of times people it's hard for them to take that because they don't know how to take it. Like, what do you want from me? It's like if you give somebody some money, they're like, what do you want?
Right.
You know what I mean? What do you want? Do you need me to pay you back? What?
I'm like, you ain't paying these tolls.
Right.
Shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't owe you nothing.
And that's literally like animalistic behavior.
Right.
Survival.
Trying
Yeah.
to find the motive behind every gesture.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's the
unfortunate.
way
But
of this world.
I will say that definitely does, like, you do have a point that always comes from somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like you pop out and then everything is wonderful your whole life, and then you're like, someone tells you look nice, and you're like, I don't know what to do with that
Yeah.
information. You know,
Right.
like, it's a series of events that get you to that mental state of being, like you're saying, I don't know what to do. You're doing something for me.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know how to process that. Like, a lot of people are dealing with that all the time in our friendships and relationships.
What I find it seems to be very prevalent for me, you know, in the last couple of years is that, okay, so I don't behave like a mass majority of
people in your age group.
my age group.
Yeah.
And so these girls have just had their hearts broken and been messed up by the actions of men before me. And so,
But yet they keep looking for the same type of dude.
yeah, but it's like, so when I do the things that I do to show, you know, my level of care, there's always got to be. I feel like there's been a lot of things that it's always unappreciated, or not always, but it's not understood,
It's not received well.
not received well, and it's like shame on gentlemen, not gentlemen, lack of gentlemen. Shame on people.
Shame on
on men.
parents. Shame on men for not being examples, like we said. Shame on men.
You
for-
can't blame the men that are doing this because they're going to do it to somebody else anyway.
Right.
It's more about.
I feel like that you should be able to blame them for that if they're going to keep on doing it to other people.
What I'm saying is that no, you got to look at yourself. It's always like you've allowed yourself to go through this. Not to say that they don't have any of the blame, but I'm just saying like you wouldn't, if you could see and judge it rightly, you wouldn't put yourself in that position in the first
What do you mean?
place. If
they could see that you folding their clothes was better than dudes that, you know,
Oh, whose perspective are you talking
I'm
about?
talking about the
the
woman's
girl.
perspective.
Oh, I
the
thought
girl
you were
who's
talking
choosing-
about like
No.
me as a person dating these ladies.
No,
Yeah.
I'm saying from the woman's perspective, like you have to take fault for that. Not to say that, but it's from an ignorant, like you were ignorant to it. You didn't
Right.
know.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
like, so there's that, yeah, they're to blame, but at the same time, you didn't know. So you had to learn, you know?
Right. What you're saying, yeah, I agree with that. I was thinking that, you know, I shouldn't blame all the fellows that have come before me in these women's past.
Mm-hmm.
I completely blame them for making them feel this way about themselves.
But with what I'm saying is that they wouldn't have felt that way if it wasn't there to begin with.
Right.
And they wouldn't be putting those, they wouldn't even accept that type of fake love if they didn't feel that way about themselves to begin with.
That's deep, Jake.
I mean,
I never actually, you know, took the time to think about it like that. You know, almost like a take two to tango type of deal.
yeah.
not only that, it's the same concept of like people always blame like social media for creating this insecurity and this selfishness in people, but it's really just something that exposes what's already there in people.
Yeah.
It's just
Showcasing it.
it's just a tool to expose it.
He just said two to tango. It takes, I mean, the Bible says it takes two to agree. When you come into agreement, you have to, in order for two to come together and agree and walk something together, you have to agree, right? So what are you agreeing in? What it means to agree is what are you coming together in an like covenant or even like a, I'm trying to look, contract. There you go. A contract. Like you're making a contract in some way of what you're getting out of it. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
And a lot of people, they're doing it for the wrong reasons. You know, even if they don't know that, they are. So you make these contracts with people and you come into agreement with people that you shouldn't be for the wrong reasons, you know, and then it ends badly.
So then what it seems like, I mean, to get off of the backstory, but moving towards more the forefront, but it seems like for me, I'm going to have an incredibly hard time because if you can't change somebody, if you see all these red flags and you just, it'll be wasting my time to try to make someone into a completely different person.
Right.
Finding someone who's compatible with my way of thinking it's going to be really, really hard.
I don't think it is.
Well,
I
mean-
think finding is also like a key word in my opinion for you, and like Kermit sips tea. I don't know anything, but like I think you need to be you, and I think you need to worry less about seeking and be you for a time and let people see it and see what comes around. See
Okay.
what kind of women start to be more interested in your life and what you're doing and things
Vulnerability.
like that. Yeah.
Be vulnerable.
Like, not just be you. Like, be you, man. You're great. Like, no, like, really be yourself. Really, like, think about the things that you want and be the man that you want to be and display those things, like, in your life, in your conversations, on your social media, however it is that you're presenting yourself to the world. And then see who shows interest.
If you think it's going to be hard, it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because that's what you're going to, like, you saying that is going to project that onto every relationship you have.
I'm saying that now because of this conversation.
And the other thing is you have to learn to, and I'm not saying that you are, but for most guys is the problem is to not be moved by a fat ass and pretty face. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
to be moved more by what someone shows you their personality is, and latching onto those things. It's like, okay, like this seems like someone that understands what a real future in a loving relationship and a marriage is. That's what this person seems like. They come from a good raised family. Like this person seems like they get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
And that's it's about that list of priorities. You know what I mean?
my opinion is that we go through a lot of cycles of over and over again dealing with things. Like, let me try this again. Let me try this again. Let me try this again. And then we have to come to the realization that you're not going to get out this cycle until you change things. And a lot of times we can't change things. That's where we need wisdom, you know, that can take us out of our current state. It's always about our state that we're in to change that state.
New Jersey sucks right now.
And that's where, for me, I think that's where God comes in, because when you humble yourself and you're like, okay, I've been doing this way. I need help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's in every situation we have in our lives. Comes a point where we come to the end of our ability.
Right.
The end of our ability to perceive what's wrong. What am I doing wrong? Why do I keep dealing with these things? You know, and we all go through that in different ways.
Yeah.
You know, and so it takes that point where, okay, I need help.
It's church time.
It's always church time.
Yeah. No, it is. It is.
Especially in here. But so on that note, you know,
Is it time?
This has been a
Oh crap! It's
this
it's
has
quarter
been a
after 10 already.
relationship hour with Kyle Mack.
Right.
Kyle the Mac.
all we've done is extend the conversations we've had onto your podcast.
But listen, that's what we do. It's helpful. Trust me.
Yeah.
So, you know,
We didn't even touch on some of the stuff that we were going to talk about.
this always happens.
Yeah.
But you can be on anytime you want. So,
Right.
We touched on what we needed to.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and we'll be working on some stuff. Kyle wants to get some music done.
Yes. we
Dave
do.
was talking to him about that. What else? What else we got coming up? Oh, we're trying to work on the radio show thing.
Yes.
We're talking about that.
I don't know if we should talk too much about that.
Yeah.
but-
We'll save that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So,
And then I know I want to do some work around here, editing and
that's right.
Yeah.
Helping us out. Help us put some clips together for this podcast.
absolutely. Whatever I can edit. That'd be cool.
Yeah, whatever. John, we need you to start filming some stuff. We're gonna put some packages together. But thank you, man.
Oh, thank you for
Yeah,
having me
man.
back.
Appreciate you guys for watching. Everybody who stuck with us. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, if you're watching this after the fact, make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Go to patreon.com. You can become a member there. And we hope everybody's being safe. We hope everybody's washing their hands. And and make sure you're keeping 6 feet between you and everyone else, like we're doing right
Yeah,
now.
right.
Yeah.
This is 6 feet. You can't tell. Cameras are deceiving.
Well, we're taping this in Canada.
Yeah.
It's different.
What is that?
Your Jamie's hand is actually almost 6 feet long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys next week. God willing. We're out of here.
Young lion, go live, yeah. Young lion, you rich, yeah. This kingdom has room, yeah. Go and fight people in, woo.